This adventure should be a whole lot of fun. We've got a rock crawler with us. We've got an oversized Overland rig. Marco's driving his daughter's Jeep and he's towing a trailer, and I've got the Gladiator and I'm towing a trailer, and we've got a Toyota that's going to be joining us later. And the whole premise of this adventure is we are heading out there to the Trona Pinnacles, which I cannot wait to go check out. It's a place I've been wanting to see for a long time. We're gonna set up camp, and then from there, over the next 2 days, we're just gonna go explore. The whole idea is to get away from the hustle and bustle of all the madness of work and life, and just go out here, enjoy the company of some good friends, relax, and just go explore and see where we end up. This is gonna be a great weekend. Welcome to TrailRecon. I'm Brad, and I am here at the trailhead of the Trona Pinnacles, a place that I have been wanting to come to for a long time. We are just east of Ridgecrest and a little bit southwest of Death Valley, and Trona Pinnacles is a magnificent place that I've always wanted to go camp at, and so that's what we're doing tonight. We're heading out there, we're gonna go camp there, and then from there, well, we don't really have an agenda. The whole idea is just to go explore this weekend. We'll go out to Death Valley, go see what we find, do a little off-roading, have some great camaraderie with friends. No agenda, just have a great time. I'm so glad that you are joining me for this adventure. We're airing down now. We're ready to hit the trail. The trail out to Trona Pinnacles is a short 6-mile drive just off of Highway 178 on some pretty easy dirt road. You really don't need to air down for this road like we did, but because we didn't know how far out we'd be exploring or what type of terrain we'd encounter, we opted to let a little air out of the tires. Plus, it's always nice to make the ride a little softer on a long dirt road. A stock vehicle in 2-wheel drive can easily make the drive out to the Pinnacles. Just be cautious after a rain, as these roads can suck you in when they turn to mud. Now, I should mention, since this is the first adventure video where I'm towing a trailer, I have used it a couple times now on some short overnight trips, but this is the first time I've towed it off-road with the Gladiator. And to my surprise, I barely noticed it was back there. Every once in a while, when you hit a good rut and that third set of tires drops down, you feel it, or when you're climbing up a hill. But for the most part, the Patriot Campers X2 chugged right along. But more on my thoughts on the trailer later as we get deeper into this trip. The Trona Pinnacles are spectacular geological formations that stand out like statues across the landscape. There are over 500 pinnacles, and some that are as tall as 140 feet. And they are mostly composed of calcium carbonate and are slowly beginning to crumble into the dry lake bed. Several movies and commercials have filmed out here primarily due to the unique alien-looking planet landscape. All right, now, time to go find an epic campsite. The closer we came to the Pinnacles, the more majestic they became. Now, this is a well-populated area and a popular camping site, but it is large enough that you can easily find a quiet place away from everybody. There were several campsites to choose from, and it's recommended that you use an existing site versus creating a new one. Also, be mindful of the vegetation out there. While some of this may look dead, it's actually thriving desert plant life that shouldn't be disturbed. Tread lightly. All right, we found a good campsite. Perfect. All right, a quick walk around camp here. The AEV RAM truck. This is AJ's, aka Photo Runner on Instagram. It's a beast of a rig. I love the whole camper setup. I've got my Gladiator towing the Patriot Campers trailer. I am really enjoying the trailer. Being able to carry all the gear back there is super nice, and I am very, very happy with the roof nest tent. Marco's Jeep is in the shop, so he has borrowed his daughter's Jeep, which has a rooftop tent, which is towing a trailer, which has a rooftop tent, so you can hit a whole family up there, but he's going to be cooking up some good chow here soon. And then Carlos, our buddy Carlos, has got his mean, lean JL that's ready to go anywhere. This thing is a beast of a rig. So a great campsite, and check out the view, guys. Just amazing here. It's going to be a beautiful night. Now, over the years, I have dialed in my system for packing for long trips like this, but it is always a chore and I'm always worried I'm going to forget something. I really like the convenience of a trailer. All I did before I left was fill up the water tank, load the fridge, hook up, and roll out. There are pros and cons to towing off-road, but I'm enjoying some of these conveniences. With camp now set up, everyone began migrating towards the camp kitchen. Marco has a few tasty meals planned on this trip. Marco, what's for dinner, buddy?
Caldo de res.
What is that?
Mexican beef stew.
Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. I'm gonna get a fire going here shortly. Now I know my friend Marco was missing his Jeep, aka what we call the chuck wagon, with all his cooking gear. But at least he was able to use his daughter's Jeep and tow a trailer, which allowed him to take most of his regular cooking supplies. It wasn't long before he was elbows deep in cleaning, and peeling, chopping up some fresh vegetables, boiling up some beef, and then adding all the savory goodness to the pot. As the sun set, the temperature began to drop very quickly. It was going to be a chilly, chilly night. So some hot beef Mexican stew was the perfect meal. After some full bellies and some reminiscing around the fire, it was time to call it a night. It was a bitter cold desert morning, and there is nothing like a good hot cup of coffee to warm you up. I'm always happy to be the camp barista and make enough coffee for all my friends to enjoy in the morning. And after everyone was awake, Marco dove right in to generously prepare a nice hot breakfast. Some potatoes with some chorizo, a fried egg on a tortilla, an easy and delicious meal. Woo. What a beautiful morning. I really needed this getaway this weekend. It has been so nice. It was very chilly last night. I mean, really chilly. Getting up this morning though, making the coffee just, warms the soul. And then Marco back there cooking breakfast, just hanging out with everybody. Sun coming up, things are starting to warm up. Today's gonna be awesome. We're gonna do a little exploring. We're gonna head to the southern part of Death Valley and see if we can find an interesting spot that some of you may know, but we'll wait until we get there to see if we can find it. But today should just be a nice, easy day of exploring, and hopefully we'll find another cool campsite just like this one. You could feel the excitement among the team as we set off to explore some new trails. Before I left home for this trip, I did download several trails in the area we could choose from, but AJ knew about a trail entrance just outside of Trona, so he took lead, and it wasn't long until we were back on the hardball. Trona is a small town with a population of around 1,900 located in the southwest side of Death Valley. Trona is very isolated and a little desolate with several empty buildings. Oh, and if you're stopping for fuel here, which is a good idea before venturing off into Death Valley, be prepared to pay close to $5 a gallon. Ouch. Well, we have been on the road for a little while. We just passed through the town of Trona and we have turned off the pavement onto this dirt road. This is Gulf Canyon and we're gonna head up into those mountains and we're in search of Barker Ranch. And some of you may know that that's where the Manson family was found. And so it's kind of a little landmark area. So we're gonna go see if we can find it and then keep exploring from there and see if we can find an awesome campsite. Should be a little bit warmer in this area, which is good news because 27 degrees last night was pretty cold. When you're exploring out in this area, keep an eye out for hidden treasures along the trail. The whole Death Valley region is rich with history and there is a lot to see along the way if you keep your eyes out. There are some very unique points of interest that still lay ahead. As we descended further and further down into the valley, it was interesting to see how there was just slight changes in the terrain along the way. Previously, we had been mostly on just dusty dirt roads. But now things had turned much more rocky, and which did make for a little bumpier ride and required us to slow our pace down, which was fine because we were enjoying the scenery. But once we reached the bottom, we were able to open it up a bit and begin to make up some ground. But don't bomb through here too fast, you may miss some of the burros grazing about. After putting down several miles in the valley, it was time to turn east and head towards a narrow canyon that leads up the mountain. This section of trail was my favorite of the entire trip, with the massive rock walls just hovering over you on each side, the twists and turns of the trail, and just the interesting geological structures that were around every corner. I love this kind of trail. There were a few old mines along the route, some mining artifacts and foundations from some old buildings. I love seeing this stuff left untouched. As we neared the top, there was an old abandoned cabin that just sat at the base of this old mine. It was the perfect place to stop, stretch our legs, and explore for just a few minutes. So cool when you're out on a trail and you can come across some old building ruins like this from the old mining that they've done up here. So cool that it's still standing, man. This is really, really awesome. As we explored the abandoned buildings, I couldn't stop thinking about how hard it must have been just to get all this stuff up here and then to live in these harsh desert conditions and work the mine your entire life. It really must have made for just a hard life. Can you imagine being this secluded and your only focus every day was to work the mine? No phone, no internet, no YouTube? Just living out here miles and miles from civilization. Just a few miles up the trail, we found the turnoff for Barker Ranch. Because the sun was beginning to set, we chatted over the radio for a little bit and decided if the ranch was empty that we would set up camp there for the night. But you know, with the history behind the ranch and the night starting to set in, I think we were all getting a little creepy chill up our spines. I would find myself sleeping a little lighter and a lot more attentive once the sun went down at this campsite. What an awesome day out on the trail. That was so beautiful, and getting able to check out those mines and the canyon. What a great day out here. A big thanks to AJ for leading us to this. This has been a great adventure, exactly what the doctor ordered. Now, it's a little creepy that we are here at Barker Ranch where they captured the Manson family. You can see there's ruins all over the place. We're camping here, but we're gonna be very attentive tonight. This ranch has been here since the late 1930s when a family settled here trying their hand at gold mining. It was later purchased by the Barker family in the 1950s, and it was in 1969 when Charles Manson and his followers were captured here. Unfortunately, the house that used to stand here was burned down in 2009. This is a popular destination for folks that are visiting Death Valley. Okay, so by the time everybody got camp set up, the sun has set, so it's already late in the evening, but the kitchen is open, and Eric is over here cleaning some peppers because, Marco, what do you got for us tonight?
Stuffed bell peppers with ground beef.
Oh man. It's gonna be good.
So for the record, guys, this is a brand new recipe. I've never cooked this before, but I'm pretty confident it'll be really good.
Well, I think it's gonna look good, man. Already. Look at all the ingredients. It's gotta be good. I love how creative Marco gets with his camp cooking. I would have never thought in a million years to make stuffed bell peppers at camp. But with some simple ingredients, a little preparation, and then cooking them on the campfire in a Dutch oven, these were some of the best stuffed peppers I'd ever had. And oh, by the way, he used soy instead of actual ground beef. I couldn't even tell the difference.
It's good. You guys gonna like it. So good.
Dinner was fantastic. And once again, we were thankful for a very nice hot meal because as you can see here, we are all bundled up and huddled around the fire because it was gonna be another chilly night.
Excellent.
Delicious.
Bring your plate.
Amazing.
Well, the next morning, I guess I really couldn't complain because it was 9 degrees warmer than the previous morning, but it was still pretty cold. The coffee was brewing, but as we were pouring our cups, I caught Marco using something a little unusual. All right, so the first pot of coffee is ready this morning and everybody's caffeinating up. AJ's got some nice dark coffee going in there. But Marco, what are you doing over here, man? What is this thing?
Yeah.
Yep. We're a little Gucci this morning, guys. We're a little Gucci this morning, but we're having a good time. It's beautiful out here. After Marco enjoyed his frothy coffee, he whipped up some amazing breakfast sandwiches. These were simple, but they just smelled delicious. Time to start packing up and head out of here. What a nice morning, especially now that that sun has come up. It's like 50 degrees, which is a heat wave compared to that chilly morning we had yesterday. Now we're getting ready to pack up camp here in a little bit. Marco just finished making some breakfast sandwiches for everybody, so eggs and bacon in the air. It's awesome. Thank you, Marco. What a cool place to camp. You know, I've always heard about this place, but it was kind of cool to see it and actually spend the night here and kind of some of the history behind it. I think it's a cool spot, destination if you're going to come out to this area. Now this morning, we're going to be heading northeast and probably getting a little rocky on the trail from what we're expecting, and then maybe even hit some sand dunes. So we've got a pretty cool day ahead of us. This should be a whole lot of fun. If you ever decide to visit the Barker Ranch, please leave it better than you found it. Let's keep it open for others to enjoy for years to come. We had put a lot of miles in since leaving Barker Ranch, and it was a little slow going as there were plenty of rocks and ruts along the way, which honestly none of us minded. It was keeping the drive very interesting. Plus, this terrain was really allowing me to get a feel for how the trailer performs when tugging it over rocks and ruts. I honestly didn't expect it to perform as well as it did. After a while, I just kind of relaxed about always looking back and seeing what it was doing and worrying about, was it leaning or pulling or whatever. I just focused on what lay ahead. To my surprise, this little X2 performs really well. When you see the striped butte off in the distance for the first time, it is striking, and there is no missing it with its vertical lines clearly isolating it from the rest of the landscape. It stands 900 feet tall, and stopping at Geologist Cabin, which overlooks the butte, is the perfect place to stop for lunch, which is exactly what we did. Welcome. In the spirit of the Old West, please leave it better than you found it. Words to live by. We're at this old cabin right here that's up on this mountain overlooking Stripe Butte, which is just a beautiful geological formation. But let me take you inside. You're not going to believe what you're going to see in here. This has been so well kept. Look at all these cupboards are stocked with food, first aid. There's some oil and snowboards, some chairs. I mean, people have just left this place amazing. This is what it's about, guys. Leave it better than you found it. This place has definitely been left very well taken care of. Super nice. What a cool find. After a quick bite to eat and taking a moment to just really stretch our legs, it was time to head out. We still have several miles of trail left to go. Within 10 minutes of leaving the cabin, we had two mechanical issues pop up. One was a sway bar link bolt that was missing. Not a big deal, but always good to carry an extra bolt. And second was something that I have now seen twice happen to a Tacoma. Okay, so,
snapped.
Yeah, that's right. Take this off,
Okay.
and I think that will fit. I think that's how we fixed it last time, is it just screwed right into the hole.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. Does it fit?
I'm trying. Oh, no way.
Yeah, it did. We did the same repair when we were on the Bradshaw Trail to another Tacoma.
Yo,
Right?
It literally fits perfect.
It fits perfect, so we're good. If you are a Tacoma owner, just one thing to keep an eye on when you are on some long, bumpy roads is that filler neck. The good news is that if it breaks off, you can put the cap directly onto the cover. Well, after leaving Death Valley, we put on a few miles on the highway and we've ended up here in the Dumont Little Dunes just to kind of play around in the sand, get a couple pictures, and then we're heading home. So that is the end of an amazing adventure where we really started with no agenda, and how awesome was all those camping sites, the trails. Man, it was just so much fun. The people we were with, having these cool rigs, it was just a blast. I love adventures like this. I'm looking forward to the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm gonna leave a link down below. I think there's another adventure video that you'll really enjoy. Please go check that one out. Thanks for watching.